Hello students, in this particular lecture of unit number 5, we will study about different types of compressor used in pneumatic circuits, then their working principle and constructional details. So the material which is used in this particular lecture is available at this particular URL, that is these are excerpts of Fluid Power Notes by IIT Madras, and this particular video is a part of a classroom teaching and not made for any commercial purpose. So what are pneumatic compressors? A compressor is a machine that compresses the air or another type of a gas from a low inlet pressure to a higher desired pressure level. The compressor increases the pressure of the air by reducing its volume. So this is something which is important, that compressor increases the pressure by reducing the volume. Okay. So the compressors are similar to fans and blowers but differ in terms of pressure ratios. Fans are said to have pressure ratios around 1.1. Blowers are having pressure ratios between 1.1 to 4, whereas the pressure ratio for the compressor is always more than 4. So that is the difference between a compressor, a fan and a blower. So the compressors are classified as positive displacement type of compressor and dynamic displacement type or turbo compressors. So under positive displacement we have a reciprocating type of compressors or rotary type of compressors. Under dynamic displacement type we have centrifugal and axial flow compressors. So in majority of pneumatic application, the positive displacement types are more important. So we will focus our discussion on this particular type of compressors. So reciprocating compressors are also have some type like piston compressor, Lebrun compressor, diaphragm type compressor, whereas rotary type also have some subtypes like twin screw, rotary, lobe type and liquid rim compressors. So the compressors are classified on the basis of their capacity. If you call a low capacity compressor having air delivery capacity of 0.15 meter cube per second or less. So if this is a capacity, then you can call it as a low capacity compressor. Medium capacity compressor have 0.15 to 5 meter cube per second of delivery, and high capacity compressor have air delivery around more than 5 meter cube per second. So this is a classification of compressor on the basis of capacity. So on the basis of number of stages, they are either classified as single stage, two stage, three stage and four stage, or multi-stage you can call. Single stage are up to 5 bar, two stage compressors are up to 5 to 35 bar, three stage compressors are uh, between 35 to 85 bar, and four stage compressors are having more than 85 bar for delivery. So this particular diagram shows the construction of single acting compressor. So a single acting compressor consists of inlet and outlet valve. Okay, the air gets sucked in during the first half of the stroke of this particular piston. Uh, okay, and because of this, as it is rotating completely, so you can say that this particular connecting rod will travel through a path. Okay, this is the slider crank mechanism which you already studied. Okay, just whenever the inlet valve is closed, outlet valve is open, and whenever the inlet valve is open, outlet valve is closed. So we know that the constant, this is the PV diagram for considering a clearance volume of a compressor. So you can say that one process 1 to 2 is compressing process. So that particular process has relation PV raised to gamma is equal to C. If it is gamma is equal to C, then it is called as a adiabatic process. If it is PV raised to N is equal to C, then it is called as a polytropic process. And if it is PV raised to C, PV is equal to C, then or constant, then it is called as isothermal process. So practically isothermal process is not achieved because because there is a heat loss. So either the process most practically to be considered as a polytropic one, because adiabatic also there is no heat transfer between the system and a surrounding. So most practical approach to define the compressing process for a compressor is polytropic. So these are formulas which you already studied for isothermal compression. Work done is equal to P1 V1 ln of P2 upon P1. So P2 is delivery pressure, P1 is inlet pressure, P1 V1 are inlet pressure and volume. For adiabatic process, so work done in the single stage compressor considering the clearances. So in this particular diagram we are considering clearance. So this particular area which I am highlighting, that you can say that it is a clearance volume. Okay, so whenever you take clearance into account, the net work done reduces because the work done is nothing but the area under PV diagram that you already studied. So work done during compression is given by N into P1 multiplied by V1 minus V4 upon N minus 1 into P2 by P1 raised to N1 N minus 1 by N minus 1. So this particular formula you already studied in your thermodynamics. So volumetric efficiency is given by this particular formula, where K is nothing but clearance ratio. Clearance ratio is the ratio of clearance volume upon swept volume, that is Vc upon Vs. So whereas A refers to the ambient temperature and 1 refers to the condition before the compression and 2 refers to the output condition in this particular volumetric efficiency formula. So again one more term is important, that is called as a free air delivery. So it is the amount of atmospheric air that can be sucked in by a compressor at a suction or inlet condition of a compressor at 1 atmospheric pressure, 20 to 100% dry air, and compressor motor running at 100% at the rated value. So these are the operating condition where you can get for which you can call it as a free air delivery. So you can say 100% dry air and motor is running at 100% rated value. This is something which is not practically possible. That is why free air delivery is a theoretical terminology. So free air delivery is an important purchasing parameter and it measures the capacity of the compressor in terms of airflow and uh, airflow which it can be handled by a compressor. And free air delivery used to compare different compressors. So free air delivery is something which is an important terminology regarding compressors. So what is CFM? So air compressors are rated in terms of CFM or CFM of a free air, defined as a air at actual atmospheric conditions. So CFM for a free air is called as SCFM when the compressor inlet air is standard atmospheric condition, that is 1 bar and 68 degree Fahrenheit. So CFM and free air delivery, these are some important terminologies related to the compressors which you already studied. So what is Q1 and Q2 in this particular formula? Uh, it is given for CFM. So Q1 and Q2 are volume flow rate of air at the compressor inlet and outlet in meter cube per minute. P1 and P2 are absolute pressure of air compressor at inlet and outlet, which are given in kilopascal. T1 and T2 are the absolute temperature of air at the compressor inlet, and outlet. The unit is Kelvin. So this is how you can find out what is the inlet capacity, or you can say CFM, which is required, because mostly these other terms you know with the application. So this is a simple numerical which is used to find out the work done during compression, and how exactly it is solved with the help of simple formulas which we just studied. So take your time, and this solution for this numerical is also given here. So I want you to please understand it, because this is something which is a part of your second year thermodynamics, but very important in this particular context. So let us study about multi-stage or three-piston compressors. This is a diagram, you can say. So here you can see there are three compressors: first stage, second stage, and third stage. This is the air receiver tank. There is an inlet valve which sucks the air. The air passes through these three stages and stored it in this air receiver tank, and whenever it is required, it is used by a pneumatic circuit. So this is the PV diagram for multi-stage compressor. So the volumetric efficiency of reciprocating compressor is the function of clearance ratio, the pressure ratio, and index of expansion. As a pressure ratio increase, the volumetric efficiency of a compressor having fixed clearance decreases, and finally a stage may reach when a volumetric efficiency approaches to zero. So this puts limitation on number of stages which we use in the compressor. So I am not going into too much detail about this diagram, because this also part which you already studied. But as a basic concept, you should remember that why we cannot go for infinite number of stages in the compressor. So this swept volume, or this particular ratio, clearance ratio, actually puts the limit on the number of stages which you can include in a compressor. So this particular diagram shows that there is a intercooler which is used between two stages of compressor. Usually this intercooler is kind of a heat exchanger, which actually air itself is a very bad conductor of heat. So in order to maintain a temperature, so that to maintain a particular compressive process as close as to isothermal, we must maintain the temperature of the air in different stages. So that is why the intercoolers are placed in this particular system. So as we seen in the PV diagram, it naturally increases the efficiency of the compressor. So usually this is a stage wise compression which is given, and the average pressure is nothing but the square root of initial pressure and delivery pressure. So P2 is equal to P1 under root P1 P3, and this is the formula which is used to calculate the work done during multi-stage compressing. So there is a simple problem which you can study later on. Okay, we shall study that problem in later lectures. So there are different types of compressors. We can say that reciprocating compressor, rotary vane type, rotary screw type, and centrifugal compressors. They are compared with each other in terms of efficiency at the full load, efficiency at the part load, efficiency at no load, the noise level which they generate, the size which they have, the oil recovery, oil carryover which they can carry out, then vibrations, maintenance, capacity, and pressure. So we can say that efficiency at full load for reciprocating compression is very high. Rotary it is medium high. So rotary screw type it is high, and centrifugal also high. And wherever noise operation is considered, okay, reciprocating compressors are noisy, rotary vane type compressors are very quiet, and rotary screw types are specially used in the application where you don't you require absolutely quiet operation, that is quite an enclosed, that is rotary screw. So the size for reciprocating compressor is large. Rotary vent type compressors are compact. Rotary screw type of compressor also very compact, and centrifugal compressor also compact. So vibration level in reciprocating compressor is very high, whereas in other types it is less. But mostly whatever the compressor which you see in the along a production line in a wherever the pneumatic circuit is mainly used, reciprocating type of compressor is always a first choice because of its cost. Okay, and maintenance is also easy. Okay, though it requires more maintenance, but reciprocating type of compressors are always major choice. You can also see reciprocating type of compressors in the showroom. So there are various regulation principles for displacement compressors, like uh, these are some diagrams which are given: start and stop and load and unload control. So that is given by this particular first diagram. Pressure relief valve control, which is reflected in this diagram. Bypass regulation, which is indicated by this particular diagram. Then pressure relief with throttled intake, and speed regulation type. So there is a speed regulation. This speed regulator is given. Okay, and this is how you can control. So there are various regulation principle to control the displacement of a compressor. So these are basic principles which by which you can control the displacement of a compressor, and then by can control the pressure which it generates. So cooling and drying of a compressed air is very important. There are three desirable qualities of the compressed air which are there. The compressed air must be clean, must be cooled, and must be dried. So these are three major issues which are related to the pneumatic circuits. So if the air is not clean, then there may be a possibility of contamination. If it is not cooled, the efficiency of overall system is dropped, and if it is not dried, it may affect the moving part of the actuator which it governs, like air motors in case of pneumatic actuator. So there are after coolers which are used. So after coolers are often used to control or to cool the gas leaving the compressor. So after coolers are something which is usually used when the air enters prior to the actuator. So after coolers are used over there. So cool functions of after coolers are cool air discharge from the air compressor via heat exchanger, and it reduces the heat of fire, risk of fire. Then it reduces the compressed air moisture level. It increases the capacity of the system, and it protects the downstream equipment from the excessive heat. So the after coolers are very much important in the pneumatic circuit. So drying is something is also important for the compressed air. So function of a dryer is to lower the dew point of the compressed air by removing the moisture from it. For simple application to remove the excess humidity, we need to simple after cooler, an air receiver, and a filter with condensate traps. So together all these things you get a drying mechanism for a compressed air. So usually these dryers are of absorption type, refrigeration dryer, or membrane dryer. So depending on their principle of trapping the air moisture, they are get over with the air moisture. They are classified into these subtypes. So these are diagrams which indicates the absorption dryer, adsorption type of dryer, refrigeration type of dryer, and this particular thing is related to the storage of the compressor. So storage or air receiver. So air receiver usually have pressure and temperature sensors mounted around it, There is a drain cock to remove the moisture. There is a safety valve to make sure the pressure in this air receiver always be below certain point. Then there is a manhole for maintenance of the air receiver. So because it is a high pressure region, there may be possibility of rust and dirt to get formed inside the air receiver, which can be easily cleaned with the help of a manhole which is given. So this completes the basics about the compressors which are used in the pneumatic circuit. From next lecture we will start uh, we'll start study about actual pneumatic circuits. Thank you.